The challenge of our garden is never ending, and today gonna tackle the pond again. As soon as spring comes about and the summer's getting close, this is what happens. Look at the stinging nettles, the length of the grass. When you're working or fishing for 5 days like I just was, you can't keep up, and the pond ends up like this. I don't know if this is working or not. We normally get a regular heron coming, and that's probably why I've got only half the amount of fish left in my pond. But as you can see, this garden is really hard to keep under control. I've cut all the hedges which were right up there. As you look how tall they are. So I've cut all these hedges and further down by the greenhouse. But then I've got all this to sort out. There's like a pump and filter here which does my other pond. This was the first pond I built, and what I did, I created another pond there, and it's gonna have a little waterfall flowing, but I just couldn't get it to work properly. We was losing water somewhere where it overflows into this one. So I just need to figure things out. All those stones around the edge was what I ordered online. Got a massive pallet of these big slate stones shipped from Cornwall. I got so many for about 90 quid, and they charge you a fortune at the garden centre, so best to look elsewhere. This is another growing area, but I've got raspberries and berries growing along the back, but as you can see, everything's overgrown. This is normally where we have a burn up. Yeah, so this was the first pond I built. Let me step over. I think what I want to do, I've got a little pear tree growing there. My plan is, instead of having it in this L shape, to cut and make it into a bigger pond and dig down. I'll be able to put some bigger fish in. Only thing is, we've got a nice little pear tree growing there, which probably not ideal anyway, considering the roots and the liner being so close. I think the foxes like to play with this frog. As you can probably see, something has chewed its face off, and its paw inside there's a little thing that makes it go rubber, but that's dead as well. And in this old pond, I've just left it to run wild, not even got the pump on. So as you can imagine, we get newts and frogs, loads of the little water skaters. But this is another project I must get on with. So you got big pond, little pond that overflows into the big pond, and where this metal thing is, my missus wants a frog pond. So never-ending projects that roll over into each year that we don't quite manage to get started, but we'll get there. Alright, I've made a start of lifting the pond plants out. I need to look into how to deal with these grasses that I planted. I don't know if you cut them short, leave them as they are, and these big not bulrushes, they're like lilies, you get flowers growing out of these. They do look nice, but they do spread. And I've got a little solar. It's amazing how it works actually, catching the sun even on a grey day like this. And you can see the bubbles. It's like a keeping a bit of oxygen in the water, and I think that that's probably been essential to keeping the fish alive, really, because I've not actually got the pump running. There's a pipe there that continuously has the water flowing into the other pond, back up, pumping back in, and it rotates the water. But everything's a mess, as you can see, so I need to get to work. Well, I need to reach down to get all these lily pads out. I don't want to pull them up by the tops because I don't want to damage them. I want them to grow and flourish, but I can't reach because it goes down about 1 metre in depth. So I need to set the pump up, which is disconnected at the moment. If you look, got this armoured cable running from all the way up in the garage, but because we've had work done in the garage, this armoured cable that feeds this, it does all the pump and UV light and stuff, there's no power going to it, so I need to go back up and do some electrics in the garage, get the power down to here, then I can actually pump the water out, see where the fish are, find these rocks that have actually toppled off into the bottom, so hopefully there's no squash fish, and then get all the plants out and start the cleaning. So, other end of the garden, house end, had some new garage doors fitted and a new ceiling put on the garage because it was the water was pouring in. Semi-tidy in here. That black cable that's hidden behind all these is the one that goes down to the pond. So this armoured cable, really I need to clip it up high all the way over. It's quite a distance, isn't it? I'll put up this temporary fuse board just to get some light. Not the brightest light, but it's enough to shine a dull light in here in the evening. Boilies. There's the armour cable. It's deceiving. You always think it's not that much there, but I did make it long enough. We did have a wall built here and it was long enough to go to that, and it's only another couple of metres, so I'd better make it, you know. I just thought I'm going to be sweating. I'm doing electrics, running in this armoured cable in my fishing waders. It's quite a long cable actually, so that's plenty enough. I need to take these waders off and get this work done. I suppose at least wearing them waders I could work on live stuff. And then rubber boots. Right. So the armour cable just running up high out of the way, and I've got a couple of metres spare, so that is cool. It was going to go through the wall into the house, fuse boards in there inside the house, but anyway, it's all connected in. Let's see if the pond pump works. Oh, can you hear that? In amongst the brambles is a water skimmer. So there's power there, so that's the water skimmer. What's this one do? I can't remember what order they're in. Oh, I think that's nothing. Water skimmer. That is really chucking up a smell, I tell you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to redirect the pipes so I can drain the water out of this pond. It just weren't possible without the pump running, so now that's up and running, I can drain this out, see if the fish is still there after that heron paid a visit. So I managed to get the pump out of the pond. Now I've got to adjust all these pipes so it goes via the pond that I actually want to empty out. Well, the sun's come out. Oh, this has been a mission, I tell you. Didn't record it, but it took me a while to find out which pipes went where, to remove this and put it onto this new pipe just to make it long enough to get into this pond. And now the lead's too tight. So now when I press this button, I don't know if it's going to work. I've got a spout that's open and I don't know if that's wrong. Let's see what happens. Yeah, don't want that to happen. Actually, I just needed to tilt that, so I've lifted that to the clean position, which means the water will pump out of this. That is working, believe it or not. Gonna get a bit of water gathering there, but that can soak in the ground. But what should happen now is this pond will start to empty and we can see, fingers crossed, how many fish we've got left. Oh, you probably can't see through the camera. I've just seen some goldfish. We've got some result. So that water level is dropping pretty rapid. It's quite a powerful pump really, because it's for a bigger pond. It's deep here. There's a shallow bit where the fish love to sit in the sun, but it's full up of, you can see, weeds and crap. I just hope there's no fish in there, so I might quickly turn off that pump, clear that area. I don't want to kill any more fish. I'll give you a tip: don't fart when you've got waders on, because there's only one way it can escape: straight up your own nose. Oh, Jesus Christ. Whoa, that's slippery. I don't know how I'm going to get this out, you know. All this big, there's two. No, it's my feet. In here with me. She's asking where the fish are. I'm trying to pull this. It's just the whole square end of this pond. This has just grown into that whole square. It's a massive lump. Can't believe it. Look. It's way bigger than you think when it's in the water. Look at it, it's enormous. Actually got the original pond shape. I'm not even going to put this back. Every year I get a similar problem. I did even put some what's that bag stuff you put in to stop the roots spreading, and it's still done it. So it's too evasive really, especially if I'm not keeping on top of it, which I'm not. Lily pads are fine. I think I'm going to get some smaller plants for the fish to nestle beneath. But yeah, I think these are going to be for the bigger pond, the wildlife pond. This is ridiculous. I need to go through here. I don't know what I'm doing with it. Do have to be pretty careful because you get, oh, come here little chap, you get little fellas like this. I don't know much about newts, but this has got like a orange belly, this one. Hello fella, I'm putting him in the other pond. He'll be happy in there. So I've drained out that shallow bit, lifted out the lilies, and I've seen a few fish, so I will empty it properly in a minute. But oh, there's a lot of gunk. Look at that. Come on, fish. Hello fish, sorry you got a water boatman on your head. Pretty little one. So at least the heron didn't eat that one. Or this one. Look at the colour of this. Craziest colour. I don't know how I ended up with this fish in the pond, to be honest. I've got a couple of goldfish from the fair. Now when you win a goldfish, although I don't think you're allowed to do that anymore, are you? In you go. So I'm going to continue emptying. I need to filter out some of this gunk though, and also a couple of these big rocks are in the bottom. I don't know if it's where the heron's been balancing on them and they toppled off the side, but ew, what a mish. I'll give it a blast with a hose. These rocks that I'm spraying now were on the bottom that toppled in, look. This one as well. And a good clean up. Hello newt, you can go in the other pond as well. And another one. How many newts have I got in this pond? It is pretty vile and muddy, so I'm not surprised the newts are loving it. And just on cue, here comes the rain. How many more newts am I going to find? That's newt number 4. They're beautiful little things, aren't they? They're like little crocodiles. Come up. He's got like a colour belly you got. Oops, sorry mate, just checking you out. Yeah, much power than those other 3. And there's one that I'm happy to see. Happy days. Covered in muck, but he's still alive. My little Tencho. Let's get you back. I'm not sure if I've ever seen this fish. White. Wow. It's completely white with a little orange speck on its... Sorry, it's amongst all the gunk. Sorry fish. I didn't know this was in the pond. This must have been a baby that escaped me and the heron. Excellent. Oh, thanks for that. Bit of mud in the eye. In you go. There's another 4 newts. That's 10 now. Oh, sorry to disturb you little people, but little fellas, but you can go into another equally filthy pond. So, getting close to having a clean pond again. Instead of those massive rushes there, one set of lily pads. Hopefully the water's deep enough there for them to, because they've already grown. I think lilies grow to the depth of the water. Hopefully that'll work. The other set of lilies, centre of this, a couple of bulrushes that sit in the margins. One looks pretty dead, but the other grew sideways, so hopefully they right themselves. Just topping it up again. As you can see, the As it comes past that mark, it's slowly filling up the shallow trail of the pond that the fish just love in the summer. I have to remember to put this heron back in place. It might be working, it might be helping to keep the real one away. So much gunk at the pond, look at that. I'm going to hose it down in a minute. I wish I could say my work is done, but later on I do plan to do this bigger pond. This has taken me all day. And we've got tons more to do around the garden. That wants to be a berry patch along the back fence. I say along the back fence, we have no back fence, it fell down. So when we clear this, there's going to be a fence right along the back. We're going to have a gate as well because brambles grow up and over the fence, which is such a pain. But this is a garden full of brambles, as you can see. Look, you just have to keep, even if you dig the roots out, more brambles appear. It's a never-ending battle. If anybody wants some evasive rushes, comment below. You can come and collect them. They just take over the pond, so they're just too much for a small pond like this one. Not so bad in this one, which is double the size, but I'm dreading to think what's beneath the surface when I lift those out. I did contain the roots, so hopefully they're not spread too much, but who knows what's beneath the surface. Do, do, do. How many newts? That is, how many newts you reckon? 15 newts. That's newt 15 there. I can't believe how many are in this pond. And if you think about it, how many are in the wildlife pond? If I found 14 in this little one under a rock. You little fellas are breeding. Dirty boy. In a couple of minutes, when it reaches the height of the waterfall that goes into the other pond, you'll see the effect of how it works. But I can't have it flowing because water is being lost somewhere, so I'll need to rethink it all. Almost there. Come on, waterfall. I can hear that trickle. So that effect is with just the hose filling up the pond, so not tons of water coming through at a time, but when you have that big pump over there pumping water from this pond up to that small pond, then the waterfall flows much faster than that. And that's about all I can do for the day. I'm knackered. I've got the solar aerator back in, you can see the bubbles just there. What I did see, the fish are already using this bit going into the shallows, can you see? And I just counted 6 go down that end. And there's the white fish, so that's 7 fish and a tench. So at least 8 fish in this pond. It's quite a difference, isn't it, from having 30 fish. There was 30 fish in here at one point. Heron turned up lunchtime. So I need to protect this pond. I've put some fishing line around it. We'll do some kind of a prevention because I want to buy some crucian carp. That's my next thing. Get some crucian carp for the pond. Crucian might be my favourite looking fish, you know. Wow, I've not seen the fish moving around so much in weeks. We've got some happy fish.